Hi, welcome back to Real Auto Reports. I'm Jonathan McGrew, and today we are with the 2014 Subaru Forester 2.0 XT. It's all new, and we're going to give you all the details you need to know in this real video, the real review. So let's hop in and take a ride in this new Subaru. All right, so here we are in the 2014 Subaru Forester 2-liter XT. As I mentioned before, this is a pretty cool car. Before we get going, we want to just talk about some things that are new to this car. So I'm going to pick up my cheat sheet here, and don't judge me, but I'm going to pick up my cheat sheet here. And one of the things we want to point out is that it does have new electric steering. And we're going to tell you about how this feels when we get out on the road. But this is something new to the Forester, and we think actually from what we've experienced that it is a really nice thing. Some other things that we want to point out, because Subaru really does have a lot going on with this new 2014, is all the safety features. And obviously you don't want me driving and reading, so I'm going to just rattle these off to you. Some of the new safety features include anti-whiplash front seats. That would be these here. And then we also have driver knee airbags, brake override, and impact sensing fuel system cutoff. So those are some really good features. You know, you're not going to hit the, brake and gas at the same time and drive through the car in front of you, or have your car catch on fire if you hit something because the fuel will shut off. Those are some really great things. Some other neat things about this new 2014 Subaru Forester is that the seat point, the hip point of the seating is higher. It's got greater hip and shoulder room. They've done a lot to really bring this car to the next generation. And being the 4th generation Subaru Forester, it is probably one of the nicest vehicles we have tested from Subaru in the last couple months. We've had the Subaru Legacy 3.6R, and we've also had the new Subaru Impreza Sport. And the Sport isn't a car that really impressed us that much, but this car, especially this being the XT with the 2.0-liter Boxer turbocharged motor with 250 horsepower, really provides a lot more excitement and fun to the Subaru brand. And I think it's going to go after a lot different segment than Subarus may have used to, because it really will move. And with that coupled to the all-wheel drive system and the new CVT that is in this car, and we'll talk about a lot of this as we get going. So let's hit the road and see what all is under the skin of this new 2014. One of the first things you're going to notice as you drive this 2014 is that it is turbocharged and it does have the CVT. So as you can see, as I'm going along here, my foot is on the throttle and the RPMs are pretty steady. It makes for a very smooth ride, and it makes for a very smooth driving experience. And I think if you had to put your finger on what makes this Subaru Forester so nice to drive, it's going to be exactly that. It is smooth. The steering is well balanced. It's got some nice weight to it. It doesn't have a numb center feel, so you don't feel like you're constantly correcting this car. And as you can see, when I do move the wheel, we get motion in the car. And so everything is very well put together here for a driving experience that is, some might say pleasurable, nice, comfortable, secure. All of those words would really fit this vehicle. Some other things that are really nice about this car is that you have the new CVT, especially in this XT model. The CVT will have the S-Drive, and that is switchable here. And S-Drive basically means that in I, you're in intelligent mode, and then you can go up, and that's full CVT. Nothing but CVT all the time. If you go to the S mode, like I just did now you are in a simulated 6-speed automatic mode, and you can use the paddle shifts back here behind the wheel. Again, down on the left, up on the right, the way we like it, so you don't get confused. Then you can go to S sharp, and that is indicated by the S pound sign. Took me a moment to figure out what they meant by that until I started reading the literature. This is not a car, and I'm just going to take a little segue here. This is not a car that you can jump into and figure out all these buttons on the steering wheel without looking at some literature. You would have never gotten the S drive sense without doing some hunt and peck and some testing on it, and to say, what does all this do? But when you put it into S sharp mode, what you get is a simulated 8-speed automatic transmission, and it'll also hold the gears a lot longer. So if I get into the throttle here, it's gone down to second, and the thing is, when you lift off, notice that it stays in second. So it is meant to be a sporty experience and to really give you some driving fun. So it does that. Now, you can also tell that we're on kind of a bumpy road here, and this car has the new Sports Tunes suspension in it. So that means that you're going to have a little harsher ride in the XT than you will in the normal Forester models, which, by the way, are the 2.5i. So that's where you're going to have your base, and then you're going to have a premium, and then a limited. In the XT, like we're driving today, this is the premium. Again, Subaru and their little acronyms or their nomenclature here. Premium, again, like in the Subaru Impreza Sport and in the XV Crosstrek that we tested, and you may have seen those videos, premium is base. So this XT Premium is the base XT model with the turbocharger. And when you get the base, that means that you're going to lose some features that are standard on the premium, or I'm sorry, the Touring. See, there you go with that nomenclature again. So Touring is the top of the line. Now, we will get into that a little bit later. But back to the way it handles. This car still has a heavy sense to it when you go around corners. I'm barely going 30 miles an hour, and I'm going around these roundabouts here in Colorado. And what I notice is that this car, even with the Sports Tune suspension, it has it feels like it is a lot to get around the corner. And I don't know how else to describe that other than you really don't feel like you want to come into a corner and really throw yourself through it, because you'll throw you, your passengers, your dog, and everything else out the window that's open on the other side, because it really does have a lot of G-force that gets put through this car when you go around the corner. But it does feel stable. It doesn't feel like it's going to break the road holding. It's just not a car that I would have labeled as sporty. I label it as smooth. I label it as comfortable. The seats are actually well positioned, much better. This does have the lumbar support, electronic lumbar. Thank you, Subaru, because this Impreza Sport did not. And it all comes together in a great package, especially in a crossover where you want good room, good power, decent fuel efficiency, and a nice daily driving experience. And I think you'll get that with this Forester that they've come out with for 2014. Now, in the XT, there are some other differences that are pretty apparent when you compare this to the 2.5i. We'll go through all of these pretty quickly because it is worth knowing. And we're talking about the XT, but you want to know what your other options are. When you look at the Forester, the 2.5i is going to be your naturally aspirated motor. It's a long-time Subaru motor, but it's got 170 horsepower, about 80 horsepower down from this turbocharged motor, and it's going to get basically 1 mile per gallon better in the city. So 24 in the city, 32 out on the highway. The XT with the turbocharger is going to be 23 in the city and 28 out on the highway. So again, if you're doing a lot of city driving, you're not giving up a lot to have this 0 to 60 in 6.2 second, experience that you're going to get in this XT. However, it will eat a little bit more out on the freeway. So if you're doing a lot of highway driving, you're going to notice a little more impact at the pump. But I don't really think enough to make you not want to buy the turbo if you really like power. Then you get back into the packages. It is interesting to me that the 2.5i, so the naturally aspirated motor, and this XT Turbo, the premium, the limited in the base in the 2.5, and the Premium in the 2.0 XT are the same price, same base price, starting price. And that's interesting because the Limited in the lower end model will have full leather seating surfaces and a lot more options on it than the XT in the premium group. So you're really going to want to balance whether you want one or the other and what fits with your budget and your lifestyle and the way you drive. I like to drive fast. I like to drive hard. I want the turbocharger. No ifs, ands, buts are about it. However, if that's not as important to you, then driving the 2.5 is going to be a nice experience as well, but you're going to see 0 to 60 times closer to the 9-second range. So it really is a difference in speed and performance with these cars. The XT also has a much different front fascia. You get a mesh grille, very different front bumper housing, and you're going to also get some different wheels. This has the optional 18-inch alloy wheels, and they look really, really cool on this car, and they really set it apart from other Foresters that you're going to see out on the road.
Now, you might be wondering why we haven't talked about the navigation in this new Subaru Forester 2.0 XT. Well, that's because we actually have what they have disclosed to us is the Premium Edition. And the Premium Edition doesn't actually come with the navigation. And we found this out through some trial and tribulation. If you watched our real first impressions, there are people who are looking for this premium level at 28,800 and some to have the navigation system, but it does not come on the premium. So what they did, and this is a little odd for Subaru to do, they gave us in the press industry and in the journalism area of the automotive industry a car that has non-production options, and it has two different non-production options. It has the navigation system and the all-weather package, which gives you the heated seats and the heated mirrors. So it's a little odd because then it really does throw us off when we're trying to give you a review. However, we did record some impressions about this new navigation system, so let's check those out.
All right, so some cool things about this car. You have the new 6.1-inch navigation screen with the Harman Kardon sound system. Going back to the navigation and the entertainment system, this car does have satellite full nav in this XT Premium, but I find the interface of the navigation and the satellite and radio components kind of dated still, even though this is an all-new vehicle. The interface really isn't all new. It's very similar to what you'll find in the 13 Legacy 3.6R and in probably any other Subaru vehicle that has a navigation system or this kind of style of head unit. But the 6.1-inch screen is much nicer than some of the other ones that have been available in the past. Your backup camera is going to be up here in this screen, which is really small. So, no offense to people who are older, but if you have trouble, you use reading glasses, that screen's not going to be as helpful for you, because for me at 28, I have trouble seeing that rear backup screen at times because it is a much smaller screen and it's a lot farther away from you. So I think they did that though, because you can now get the rear backup camera in every model except the base model of the Forester. And what that means is that they are uplifting the standard safety features or the available safety features in the car. As we go around this curve, again, you can see how it kind of leans a little bit here. And the bolsters are great in the seat, but that just goes back to what I was saying before about the sportiness. Now, some other things that are great about this car. Wah! Look, you have a panoramic sunroof. And yes, it goes all the way back. It does not tilt though. So you're only going to be able to open it all the way up. Now it has a 2-stage open. It'll open to about somewhere back here in the back, and then you can open it all the way back so that your back passengers get a face full of air. It can be a lot of fun, and if you have kids, it can make them giggle and laugh. That goes right back to the cargo capacity of this car. They have made this car have more cargo capacity in the new version, yet the exterior footprint of the Forester really hasn't changed. And by the way, the body lines on this car are much nicer, I think, than the previous generation. I think they've done a really nice job of making this look like most manufacturers have in their redesigns, more aggressive, a little bit more muscle is added to the outside of the car, and it really gives for a more formidable stance outside and something to be proud of when you own it. So that's the real video, the real review of the 2014 Subaru Forester 2.0 XT. Not quite the top of the line in the premium, but pretty close, and it has 250 horsepower coming from the 2-liter turbocharged boxer engine. With fuel economy right about 23 in town and 28 out on the highway, this car will not hurt your wallet at the pump as much as some, and it'll still provide a lot of fun 0 to 60 in 6.2 seconds. It has great cargo room, actually even more than it did previously, even though the exterior footprint is pretty much unchanged. We think this is one of the nicest offerings we've tested from Subaru, and we hope you'll join us again for another Real Auto Reports Real Video or Real First Impressions. I'm Jonathan McGrew for Real Auto Reports. We'll see you down the road.